So we're speaking with Daniel Collett, and so tell us a little bit about first off, who you are and what you do with the Ashcroft Slough Society.
Yeah, my name's Daniel Collett, and I've been named the spokesperson for Ashcroft Slough Society, uh, basically because nobody else wanted to do the job. But uh, but I'm happy to do it, and yeah, that's my position as well as being a member of the board of executive, the executive of Ashcroft Slough Society.
All right. Since I've only been in the area for just over a year and a half, and since I've been here, a lot of people, a lot of local residents talk about the Ashcroft Slough. So tell us why this
hmm
is so important to the residents.
Well, the Ashcroft Slough has always been important to local people. Uh, for centuries, actually, with First Nations. Very important area there for fishing and hunting, uh, and for spiritual reasons as well with First Nations, with sweat lodges, and apparently there's a special healing mud that is found there, and and there has been evidence that's been uncovered uh, that shows very directly that First Nations have been using that area for a very long time. Since settlers have been in this area, um, the slough has been accessed by local people for a variety of reasons. And uh, for around 130 years, 140 years, something like that, since before the railways were in place there. Very, very important. It's a beautiful area. It is close by. It is it is a place that people look forward to going to after work with their families and their dogs, and on the weekends to spend even more time there.
All right. So why was the Ashcroft Slough Society created?
It was created to have a stronger voice that would be listened to. Individuals aren't listened to as much as a society is in these kind of situations, and we're trying to regain access to the slough. And in order to do that, we need to be listened to. And so we formed a society, and we are moving ahead with trying to get that access back in any way that we can.
And what are some of those options that you guys are working on for people to safely access the slough?
Yeah, well, there are a couple of viable options that at least we're looking at, um, and one of them is a tunnel. Um, we're having somebody from the Kamloops Tunneling Company help us out with an estimate for that. And another option is a safe pedestrian overpass, or really just a set of stairs to a landing, and some of those light yellow gates that you see at crossings that are safe, and then people look both ways and they cross the tracks, so a level landing with the tracks. And yeah, our the stumbling blocks for these options are the corporations that are on either side. I mean, there's Ashcroft Terminal on the one side and CN Rail on the other side, and it's going to be hard to budge these groups, and we're just local people, but we we're we're strong, and we are patient, and we're going to keep pushing it in any way that we can, even if it means going to court.
So people had access to the area previously. What changed? What do you feel changed?
Well, the Ashcroft Terminal um, purchased the land, and then it's basically a construction zone out there now. So it's unsafe to cross in the three locations that we used to cross in, and we all understand that. We're happy for them. We're happy for the expansion that they're doing, and hiring some local people there to work there. Uh, but because we've always had access, there's precedence there, and um, they really should be considering local people. They are hiring local people. That's great. But then what do people do after a work day? They look for recreational opportunities and solace and meditation places and things like that. And that's what the slough provides.
And so, if everything were to go successfully with this initiative and what you're hoping to achieve, what would the Ashcroft Slough look like in the future?
Very much like it is now, but
Mm-hmm.
with a trail that is a safe access trail that would go down to it. And Ashcroft Terminal can put a fence on the one side to keep people from crossing up and over the tracks if they think that's important. But it would be a safe way of accessing a place that we've always accessed. And they're always talking about safety, and so this is a good way to make it safe so that people aren't illegally crossing into their
Mm-hmm.
property and then crossing the tracks because it's what they've always done. Yeah.
Well, I know for me, I've definitely crossed over railway tracks going into parks before. What do you think made this one different from other
Mm-hmm.
parks that I've accessed before, where I've gone over tracks before and gone to the lake and all that? What's different
Mm-hmm.
about this area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you're right. People everywhere in BC do that, and it's technically illegal, but we do it, and we should be allowed access to rivers and lakes and places that are cut off by the railways. And people aren't stupid. I mean, you look both ways, and there's no train coming, and it's
Mm-hmm.
safe to cross. You cross, and it's really always been that way. But the reason it's changed here is because the Ashcroft terminal is in place, and they have an issue with people coming onto their property naturally, and
Mm-hmm.
it is unsafe and it's their liability. So I get it. And what has changed is if there's somebody on their property trying to cross the way they normally would have, they phone CN police and they come along and give people tickets or say that they will if they come here another time and all that. And yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a sizable amount for people too. They want to discourage it. I understand, but $170 for crossing the track, um, so that it's safer. But it really is not safer. It it does mitigate some liability for them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's really about safety so much as it is the liability.
So, what do you wish people knew about the Ashcroft Slough and about the Ashcroft Slough Society?
Well, the Ashcroft Slough is a huge area and a beautiful area, and for it's really hard to tell people about the Ashcroft Slough. It's a place where you really have to visit and experience, but it's extremely hard to do that right now. Um, Well, I guess what I would want to say is that Ashcroft Slough Society is growing, and we're not going to give up on this. It's that important to local people, and it's not just local people. People come from Calgary, Pemberton, Vancouver, Prince George, and to fish in that area. It's quite well known for that, and we've met many people who have been coming to that area from elsewhere for 25, 30 years every year. Every summer, they would every fishing season they would come here from other places. So fishing is big, but it is one of the most interesting geologically interesting areas with all of the layers that you can see across the river that have folded over time, and they're different colors, so it's quite pretty as well. But it's also a safe swimming area, recreational area, because the water in that area is relatively smooth and calm. Boating can be done safely, and at certain times of the year there's a channel that flows through, and people go through there on inner tubes and so on, and families go and swim in some of the slough pools and eddies that are created after the spring freshet has come down, and it exposes all the land again. There's trees that stick up out of the water, and a little bit of land that is almost always dry, very little of it, but at times in really high water, everything is flooded. So then the floodwaters recede, and all the animals start coming back, and there's birds, and it's just a magical place.
It sounds like I was going to say it sounds quite magical. So
Mm.
I understand that you guys are accepting memberships to join the society. How is that? How does the membership work?
Well, the membership is $5 a year, and you can become a member from ashcroftsloughsociety.com. And there is a membership page there. There's also a media page where interviews such as this one that we're doing right now can be seen or heard. And there is a e-transfer button, I think, or button,
Hmm.
or yeah, I think there's an
Email, I
e-transfer
think.
button that you can,
Email, yeah.
yeah, yes, yeah,
Yeah. And you're
as
also
well.
accepting
And if anybody
donations.
knows any of, yeah, there's a donation page as well, and there's a fillable form. People people who become members uh, aren't expected to do anything. Um, they can volunteer, like in the future when there is a trail. And we really hope in the future that there's a trail. We're thinking of the seven generations coming up, and preparing for them, and then there will be volunteers needed for keeping the place clean and monitoring things down there.
All right. If people want to follow along with how you guys are doing or how you guys are progressing, where can they go to follow along, or they can go to donate or sign up for a membership? Where can they go?
There's a couple of places that you can go to find out what's going on with us. One of them is the Facebook page, ashcroftsloughsociety.com. I think that's how it is. And I'm not a Facebook person, so I don't know exactly. But then there's ashcroftsloughsociety.com, the website, and click on that. And on the home page at the very top, you'll see all the other pages, and you can click on whichever ones. There's a user page, so the user groups, and a media page, and contact page, and so on. And just look through it and read through it, please, because there's some really interesting and important information there for anyone who's interested.
All
Okay, this
right.
is really getting dark here now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be sure to put up all your information so people can follow along. But thank you so much. It was great chatting with you and learning more about the Ashcroft Slough Society and anything that we can do to help.
Thank you, Dana. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thanks.